Alright, let's talk about how to make an O-ring today. Say you're taking apart this water separator on your air system. Right? Pull it apart, we're doing some maintenance on it, and you've got an O-ring here that seals this whole system up. And your O-ring's damaged, right? So we need to replace it, but we don't have the correct part number in stock. So just a couple ways we can go about making this new O-ring. There's a couple things we need to know. We need to know the length of the O-ring material, and we need to know the diameter of the O-ring material, right? Just the width of it here. So let's say our diameter of our O-ring material. Okay, we can take a set of calipers, measure it out, 3/32 of an inch. All right. Fortunately, I have right here in the shop a bunch of 3/32 material. Right? And you can verify this on a splicing fixture. It'll insert in this 3/32 hole. Won't go into 1/16, way loose in an eighth. Right? This is 3/32 O-ring material. So we know our diameter. We've got the correct material. Right? So now we need the length. Simplest way, right? If you've got a mostly good O-ring, say it's frayed a little bit, so you're replacing for that reason. Easiest way to find your length is going to be simply cut it in half. Right? Not only do we need to know the length, I can just comparative measurement here, right? Butt my ends up together. Butt these up together. Right? Take something that is contrasting colors, like this white China marker. Make a mark on it. All right, so now I've got my new O-ring material measured out. Next thing we need to do, we need to square up the ends of the material so that when we glue them together, the surfaces mate evenly. To do that, I'm going to stick this into the fixture. Just enough to get a bite on it. Chop it with the razor blade. So we've got one side square. I'll pull this other side in here. All right, perfect. All right, so match this up here. Pretty well the right size. Okay, so I can just glue this up, but let's assume that you don't know that you were missing an O-ring, right? So we don't know what size O-ring is going to go here. Another way we can figure this out: take a set of calipers, measure the inside, or measure the center of this groove that your O-ring sits in, and see this is 2 28/32 of an inch. So 2 28/32. Right now we got to reduce this fraction down, so that's 2 14/16, or 2 7/8 is the simplest form of that fraction. Then we need to find our what is 7/8 in as a decimal. It's 875, so 2.875 inches is the diameter of our O-ring, right? So now we need to know for the length, we basically want the circumference. If you remember back in high school, your circumference of a circle is your diameter of your circle, which is 2.875 times pi, which is 3.14. Multiply that out, it comes to 9.0275, right? So just over 9 inches. So let's take our O-ring material, again, without cutting new stuff. Yeah, and it is just a hair over 9 inches. So this is correct. So next thing we got to do is glue it up. So for glue up, the less glue you can use, just a common super glue, the less you use, the better your bond's going to be. You need just enough to wet the surface here. So I personally like to put some on like a scribe or something, and then just dab it. Just enough to wet one of the surfaces here. And then we're going to put it in our V-block. This V-block is going to align our 2 perpendicular edges together. Push them together. Count to 10 in your head, and that'll be enough for it to dry up. Again, so the other thing that using a little bit of glue is going to do, it's going to keep you from gobbing up super glue on this V-block, which is going to affect its accuracy and how well you can make an O-ring in the future. So just something to be aware of. Let's say, even with how little we used, it's still wanting to stick to this. So take our scribe, free it out of here. Boom. New O-ring, right? So set it in here. We'll probably want to give it 10 minutes or so to fully dry. All right, while we're waiting on that to dry up, I'm going to go over one other method to make an O-ring. Right, so a lot of shops are going to have these O-ring kits. We'll go with the other side. And everybody finds that their shop goes through one size O-ring or another. Yeah, and so you'll have some that just never get used. Let's take, for example, let's say this 24. Right, we got lots of these 24 O-rings, but we're out of 21s, right? So they are the same diameter material. So I'm going to take one of these 24s, I'm going to turn it into a 21, and it's really simple. I'm going to chop this O-ring at any point, doesn't matter. And now I'm going to wrap it around my 21, the fixture for holding them, right? Because this fixture is made to just hold a 21. And then I'm just going to splice them. Not splice them, I'm going to cut them at an angle. See, the angle doesn't matter now, because since this razor blade's straight and I'm cutting them at the same time, they are going to have an angle on them, but they are going to be equal and opposite from each other. So what this is actually doing is giving us more surface area than a perpendicular cut. It's actually going to help this hold even better than if we cut perpendicular. So, all right. So again, get some fresh super glue on here and just dab one of these surfaces. And hold it there for 10 seconds or so. Even dabbing that had some excess super glue on it, but yeah, we've essentially made a size 21 out of a 24, right? It's gonna slide right on there. All right, so now we have a size 21. Okay, let's go back. Last thing I want to show you. We made this O-ring a minute ago. How strong is that O-ring? Right, how does this compare to the strength of a brand new one, right? Factory made. You'd be surprised at how strong these are. So let's do a little pull test on it. There we go. Yeah, it's about all the strength I can muster to break that up. So there you go. That's building an O-ring.